So Marilyn, I'm a green consumer. I've been eating organic food for years. I buy clothing like hemp and bamboo and recycled soy, but I'm not too familiar with green building, and I'd like to get into it and like to know what my options are.
So, if you wanted me to design the ultimate green building,
The ultimate.
I like to integrate like every green feature possible and still have it be sensible. You know, like you can get your permits and it meets code and you can get financing and it's like low mortgage payment, low operating costs, and you're healthy and you're comfortable, right? Okay, so it's, you know, warm, fuzzy, like home sweet home, but it's integrated green. Okay, so you're going to start out, the basics are you're oriented to the sun, and so in our northern hemisphere, that's south, that's the sunny side, so you want to be, southern hemisphere is the opposite.
Okay.
So I just learned last night that down there they refer to it as the sunny side of the house and the shady side of the house. Anyway, so on the sunny side of the house, you want to have passive solar sun coming in, and the sun angle changes during the seasons.
Okay.
And so in the winter, the sun angle's lower and it reaches like way further back into the building. Summer, steeper sun angle because the sun's up.
Okay.
And it's hot in the summer. So you have to have passive heat,
Okay.
passive shading, and passive ventilation.
Explain a little bit more about that.
You need the air to go through the building, so you basically let it in low on the hot side,
Okay.
and you let it out up high on the shady side, the north, right? Because heat rises.
Makes sense.
Okay, so you have this passive orientation, and you want to harvest rainwater, and you want to reclaim your wastewater. So you have gray water that you can reclaim. That's everything except the toilet.
Ah.
And then you have black water,
Okay.
and that's the toilet. So you can reuse and filter and process both of those. We'll elaborate on all this later, but right now I'm just trying to give you the like quickie of what is everything in the integrated, encapsulated green home.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, so then you want to have it non-toxic, both for your indoor air quality as the occupant, but you also want it non-toxic so that all the beautiful people who work on building your home aren't getting exposed to carcinogenic chemicals that are going to hurt their rest of their life, right?
It's important.
And so then you want to have renewable energy. So that could be solar photovoltaic panels, which are very common now. It could be wind energy, and it could be a geothermal heat pump.
Ah.
The Earth has a stable 55 to 58 degrees
Okay.
of like free, stable temperature. So you kind of dig down to where that temperature is and you run water through it and you circulate it back into the building. And so if it's 112 outside, you just got free air conditioning and you mix some of this 58 degree temperature and you normalize it to where you'd like to be.
Wow. Amazing.
Okay? Like free air conditioning.
Yeah, who wouldn't like that?
Yeah. Okay. So, but then in the winter when it's minus 12 and it's really cold out, 58 degrees is like a lot warmer than minus 12.
Very true.
So now you only have to create a heat source to heat up from 58 back up to the 68 or 70 that you want to be. So it's a lot cheaper to only have to heat for that extra 12 degree temperature difference than to go negative 12 to 70. Like, that's a lot more BTUs. That's a measurement of heat power.
So it's a lot more efficient.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent.
So then when a house has this solar passive orientation, And even if it doesn't, like if you live in a forest, like, sorry, you're just not going to get enough solar gain. And you can still have a green home and not get a lot of sun, because you'll just integrate some features and then, oh, whoops, you don't get to do that one over there. Like passive solar gain. But you need to have thermal mass. And so thermal mass is a material that when it gets warm or cold, it holds its temperature for a long time, and it slowly radiates, you know, kind of equalizing its temperature to whatever the outside air temperature is, slowly. So if the sun comes in and heats up your thermal mass floor, that could be concrete, stone, earth, stucco holds it because that's kind of a concrete product. Even water is thermal mass. It'll take 2 or 3 or 4 days after you kept giving it heat before it cools down.
Wow.
Okay? Now, you have to have a lot of insulation around that, so as it's radiating its heat, it's like staying inside the room.
Makes sense.
So thermal mass stabilizes the temperature.
Okay.
And so you need thermal mass and insulation to be stabilized.
Mhm.
All of us kind of like warm water to wash the dishes, to take a bath. And so solar hot water is like given. You got to do solar hot water.
Okay.
So then that's sort of it. Like the ultimate green home has passive orientation, water catchment and
Okay.
wastewater reuse,
Okay.
non-toxic materials,
Okay.
renewable energy, and then just lots of insulation and thermal mass, and you're kind of there.
Wow.
Now there's some other like extra credit points you can get.
Okay.
So if you're enhancing community, so people can interact in a way where they care about each other and live in harmony, and they're kind of a support system for each other, like that's positive.
Indeed. Absolutely.
And if you're cleaning up a site that in Mother Nature, some land that was already defiled, right? And so it could be a brownfield, like literal toxic dump site, or it could be an old abandoned road, old abandoned mine, old abandoned, just an old building used to be there, and there's no flowers and trees and plants and habitat for animals. It's just like yuck, right?
Yeah. Sounds yucky.
Okay, so now if you create a nice landscape and kind of water drainage thing, and you've restored the land, you've detoxified it, and you made something beautiful, like you get extra benefit points from like the city, the jurisdiction, the state, the community, you know, good karma points because you made an ugly place beautiful. You made the world better than it was before you showed up.
So you can spread the joy, spread the wealth.
Yeah.
That's good.
You know, it's a prosperity thing.
That's good. Excellent.
See, I thought of one more thing that's in the ultimate integrated
Tell me.
greenhouse.
Let me add it to my list. Let me add it.
Grow food in it. Right? Because what do we need to sustain human life? We don't want to be too hot or too cold. We want to stay dry when the weather is rainy and snowy. Right? We need like water we can drink that's pure. And we like civilization comforts that we've kind of gotten used to, like warm water and stuff. But in addition to having shelter and water and processing our waste, we need food.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the water reuse thing is that you can use your gray water and your black water to water the plants.
So my garden, my fresh tomatoes, my artichokes, all the amazing produce I've got going on.
Yeah, so all the water, the gray water, that's everything except the toilet.
Yes.
You know, it has like really minor amounts of particulates or bacteria or virus in it. And if you're using non-toxic soaps and cleaners in your house, there's no like chemicals in your gray water.
Okay.
And so this water can immediately water any vegetables.
Wow.
You know, even your lettuce or whatever, right?
Really?
But the black water, if it hasn't been run through a bunch of biocell, pond, biotic reclamation, purification, you don't want to put that on your lettuce because there might be some bacteria and virus, and you just don't want to risk exposing yourself to pathogenic bacteria.
Ah, wonderful. So food is definitely part of the equation.
Fruit trees, you can put that black water, you know, it's been like filtered and stuff, but you know, there's all different kinds of black water reclamation systems, but let's say you were using the kind that hadn't made it potable again, right? But you can put that on fruit trees.
Really?
And by the time it goes in the ground, through the tree roots, up through the tree trunk and the tree branches and the tree leaves, and finally makes buds and finally grows fruit on the tree, there's no risk ever that there can be bacteria or viruses on that fruit.
Wow. So my avocados would be safe. And my persimmons would be safe.
Yes.
Excellent.
But, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that no matter what you want to do to process your black water, you're never going to put like sewage out there in the yard for flies or whatever. That's like
But the complete spectrum of what we're talking about, though, you can really cover all the bases, all your necessities, all the basic comforts of human life.
And so the ideal integrated home can be on the grid, like in town, connected to all the urban utilities, and you can do net metering, where you connect your solar panels or your wind generator to like the grid that feeds the rest of the street, and the utility company buys it, you know, all of it from you the whole time it's generating, and then they have like a little meter, and then there's this one meter counts how much you're producing, the other meter counts how much you use, and you aim for at the end of the year it zeroes out, like zero scorecard. And some states actually give you an income check. Like in Colorado, you can get a check every month. California, the best you can do is break even, or otherwise you're just giving them free extra energy.
Wow. Phenomenal.
And so if you're off the grid, you're out in a rural place, your ultimate integrated green home collects everything it needs from the sky. Its water and its power. And it doesn't send anything icky downstream for somebody else to clean up, right? It has integrity, and it reclaims and purifies and reuses all of its waste water, black water, gray water, solids, and so it's living. It's this self-contained integrity machine. It's your own utility company.
So if I decide to stay in the city or get rural, either way we can work something.
Yes.
Either way it's possible.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.